In business, Nigerian National Petroleum Company Limited commences payment of $6 billion debt to suppliers. On our foreign scene, United Nations Secretary General Antonio Guterres calls for global unity. And in sports, Confederation of African Football announces date and venue for 2024 Player of the Year Awards. Hello and welcome to all our viewers in Nigeria and around the world to News Express on Global Television. Coming to you live from the nation's capital, Abuja, I am Jumai Manson. A quick reminder that Global Television is on DSTV channel 365 and free to air on Nicomsat. Now the news in full. President Bola Tinubu has sought the National Assembly confirmation of the new ministerial nominees announced on Wednesday. He sought for the expeditious consideration of his request by the Senate. The ministerial nominees, as contained in the letter, are Minister of Humanitarian Affairs and Poverty Reduction, Dr. Natwe Yalwade, Minister of Labor and Employment, Mohammed Amongst others. The Senate President Akpabio referred to the presidential request of the whole for consideration very soon. President Bola Tinubu wants filling stations converted to compressed natural gas (CNG) outlets. Minister of State for Petroleum Resources, Gas, Ekpo, said respondents after the Federal Executive Council FEC meeting. The minister assured that gas was available in large quantity and the only challenge was infrastructure to deliver the product to filling stations, adding that the President has directed that adequate infrastructure should be provided to ensure delivery of gas to filling stations. Minister for Aviation and Aerospace Development Festus Keyamo has visited the Secretary General of the World Meteorological Organization, Professor Adair Saulo, to solicit operational support for the Nigerian Meteorological Agency, NIMNAT. Keyamo made this known in a post via his X handle. He centered his request on areas of capacity building and launching a national roadmap in respect of the early warnings for all initiative by the United Nations, amongst others. The minister, accompanied by DG of NIMNET, Professor Charles Anosike, Nigeria's permanent representative to the United Nations in Geneva, Switzerland, Ambassador Biodun Adejola, among others, also requested the organization's support for NIMNET in implementing digital climate advisory services for sectoral activities in Nigeria. The Federal Executive Council has approved 750 billion naira for the completion of the Kano-Abuja Road project. The approval was given during the weekly council meeting presided over by President Bola Tinubu at the State House in Abuja. Minister of Works David Umahi, who briefed State House correspondents after the meeting, said government is working on managing the extensive backlog of infrastructure projects. He added that the Abuja-Kano Road, previously slated for a tax credit arrangement, will now be procured without such a provision, with 162 kilometers Burgess section already approved for 750 billion naira. Now, mixed reactions have continued to trail the scrapping of the Niger Delta Ministry as a host of Niger Delta leaders and activists kicked against the move. Elder statesman and Ijaw leader Chief Edwin Clark, who alleged that the federal government was planning to use the resources of the South-South Zone to fund other zonal development commissions, said the people of Niger Delta would not accept the move. Meanwhile, convener of the South-South Reawakening Group, Elder Joseph Abamuderemo, who hails from Bayelsa State, endorsed the move, saying the scrapping of the ministry is long overdue as the president's action is in line with the recommendations of Stephen Orasanye Committee on Rationalization of Ministries, Departments and Agencies. Minister of the newly created Ministry of Regional Development, Engineer Abubakar Momo, who was in charge of the former Ministry of Niger Delta Development, however, clarified that the Niger Delta Development Commission was still in place. The Executive Secretary of Tertiary Education Trust Fund, TETFund, Sonny Ochono, has sought greater collaboration with the Nigerian Armed Forces in the forthcoming National Research Fair. He made this request when the Chief of Defense Staff, General Christopher Musa, visited TETFund headquarters in Abuja, expressing profound gratitude to the armed forces for their sacrifice in keeping the country safe. Ochono also acknowledged the military's contribution to technological advancements such as the use of GPS and drones, which have signified societal impact. Similarly, the Executive Secretary, while speaking after receiving an award of excellence at the annual summit organized by the Association of Chairmen of Local Government Service Commissions, urged local government area councils to make strategic investments in tertiary education. He also emphasized the importance of local government autonomy recently restored by President Bola Ahmed Tinubu. A High Court of the Federal Capital Territory, FCT, has granted the Economic and Financial Crimes Commission, EFCC's, application of adjournment in a fresh charge against the immediate past governor of Kogi State, Yahaya Bello, and 2 others until November 14th. Rotimi Oyedekpo-San, who appeared for the EFCC, made the oral application before Justice Mariam Anenya, informing the court that at least adjourned dates, the court issued a public sermon against the former governor, directing that the same be published and charge be posted. The former governor, alongside Omar Oricha and Abdusalami Hidu, are being persecuted as first and third defendants, respectively, in the 16-count charge. Justice Anine, however, interjected, stating that she did not give an order that the charge be pasted along the sermons, although she earlier refused the oral application for bail, stating that the defendant should come formally by filing out applications in writing. However, adjourned to 14th and 20th November for response of the first defendant to summon and/or arraignment. President Bola Tinubu has sworn in Dr. Abdullahi Usman Bello as the new chairman of the Code of Conduct Bureau, CCB. The brief ceremony took place ahead of the Federal Executive Council FEC meeting, which was also chaired by the President. Sharon Ajay has details.
After the swearing-in, Dr. Bello spoke to State House correspondents, pledging to tackle corruption through the Bureau. He emphasized the importance of integrity and accountability among public officials, vowing to uphold the agency's mandate. He acknowledged the global nature to corruption, but highlighted the significance of having strong systems in place to mitigate it.
I always say that it's not about the individuals. Everybody can be corrupt in the world. It doesn't matter whether you are in the UK, whether in the US, everybody has a tendency to be corrupt. One of the most important things is the systems that we have in place to check it. So if we have the systems in Nigeria, we are going to deal with this problem. So I assure you that we have the systems, we have the institutions. We only need to deliver on the mandate that is given to us.
The CCB, Nigeria's foremost anti-corruption agency, has the mandate in ensuring that public servants act with integrity and avoid conflict of interest. Sharon Ajay reporting for Global TV News.
The Olowa of Igbara Oke, Oba Adefarankami Adegbe, says traditional rulers in Ondo State has endorsed Governor Lucky Ayedetiwa for the November 16th governorship election. The monarch stated this while receiving the governor on a consultation engagement visit in his palace at Igbara Oke, headquarters of the federal local government area, as part of the campaign tour of the governor to the area. Kikelomo Okere tells us more.
The Olowa of Igbara-Oke, Oba Adefarakanmi Agbede, says Governor Ayedatiwa has listening ears and has displayed good character by treating the traditional institution in the state with utmost respect. The monarch says the achievements so far recorded by the governor in his 10 months in office are impressive, which shows that he will perform well if elected for a full term in office. According to Oba Agbede, the people of Igbara-Oke and Ifedore are solidly behind Governor Ayedatiwa and will vote him en masse on November 16. At the palace of Olujare of Ijare, the Shepetu of Ijare, High Chief Wemimo Olaniyan, speaking on behalf of the traditional rulers in the community, commended Governor Aiyedatiwa for his achievement in short period of time. Olaniyan, however, appeals to the governor to prioritize the completion of Okeudu to Ijare Road and address other pressing community needs, pledging the full support of the Ijare community for his election.
Of LCDA Ijare, from the village of Ijare, Owa Obararomi, Eleki of Eti, Ogot of Irese, the Alaye of Aye and the Kota, represented by one of our ICDA, they have keyed into the Aiyedatiwa project, and we are promising that we are going to support you.
Governor Aiyedatiwa expressed appreciation for the warm reception and unwavering support from the traditional rulers and residents. He assures people of his administration's commitment to meeting their expectations. He emphasized that his administration development agenda is people-centered and promised that ongoing efforts across all sectors will continue to reflect the priorities of the people.
When you talk about grassroots mobilization for positive change, the traditional institution is very key because they reside with the people, they have them as their subject, and they can easily communicate with them other than the other category of leaders. So that is why most of the time we pay homage to the traditional rulers, because this is where they dwell, they live among their people, and their people actually install them to lead them.
The governor was also at the palace of Alara of Ilaramokin, Oba Abiodun Aderemi Adefeyinti, who commended the governor's developmental efforts and the appointment of sons and daughters of Ifedore into key positions in government. The monarch also reels out the need of the community, which the governor promised to address. Addressing the residents who troop out to welcome him, the governor says his government remains focused on delivering lasting infrastructure and improved service that will benefit every citizen. Earlier, the governor performed the groundbreaking ceremony for the construction of Ijare Central Market, a project aimed at boosting local trade and enhancing the economic landscape of the community. From Akure, Kike Lomo Ukeri, Global Television.
Kebbi State Governor Nasir Idris has approved 750,000 naira as minimum wage for the state's workers. The governor signed the new minimum wage into law at the Government House chambers in the presence of the President of the Nigerian Labour Congress, NLC, Joe Ajaero, and other executives of the union. He also directed the state's Accountant General and the Ministry of Finance to begin the payment of the new minimum wage immediately, as the approval was in fulfillment of his campaign promise to improve the welfare of workers in the state. In his remarks, the NLC president commended Governor Idris for not disappointing the union over the minimum wage and other projects he had embarked on in the state since he was elected. In the same vein, the Akwa Ibom state government announced a minimum wage of 80,000 naira for its employees. This was contained in a statement signed by the Commissioner of Information in the state, Mr. Ini Emabong, explaining that Governor Umar Eno had instituted an implementation committee to ensure the smooth operation of the policy. According to the statement, the 80,000 naira minimum wage announcement is a reflection of the government's committed to the welfare of the workers. Traders in Singa markets of Kano State have called on the federal government to provide a permanent solution to the persistent increase in prices of food items across the country. Global TV correspondent Idris Jibrin reports that despite the availability of food items in the market, prices have continued to increase at an alarming rate. His report.
This is Singa Market in Kano, the largest commodity market in northern Nigeria. Food items by the truckloads arrive here on daily basis, and there are over 150,000 people trading in Singa Market daily.
It is a kind of market that, serves at least Kano and the environs, and even some neighboring countries, actually.
We have Zone 1, which covered Bellarot, Zone 2, which covered Kandoki, we have Zone 3, which covered Adobayero Road, we have Zone 4, which covered Bella Dandago, and also Yulawa, Zone 5, which covered Bata.
Despite the viability and availability of food items in this market, Traders Union says hundreds of their members have shut down their businesses due to continuous price increase in recent times.
We encountered multiple increase, and some items, even the prices of some items is even multiplied by 100% actually.
According to traders, increase in high cost of production, foreign exchange, poor government policies are some of the reasons responsible for the current economic hardship among Nigerians, leading to price increase virtually on daily basis.
Increase of forex, that's the dollar price. It is almost double from that period to date. Beside that one, there is an increment on the power also. So that's the second reason they are given. Beside that one, even the cost of labor, cost of production, everything.
For most Nigerians, however, unless the current inflation is controlled, high cost of production and transportation are reduced, the future of Nigeria's economic sector may likely continue to remain bleak. From Kano, Idris Jubrin reporting for Global Television News.
You're watching News Express on Global Television, coming to you live from Nigeria's capital, Abuja. When News Express returns, Nigerian National Petroleum Company Limited commences payments of $6 billion debt to suppliers. Details of these as well as foreign and sports stories coming right after this break. Please stay with us. You're welcome back, and if you're just tuning in, this is Global Television, bringing you live broadcasts of News Express. Thank you for staying with us. On our business desk now, Minister of Finance and Coordinating Minister of Economy, Mr. Wale Edun, has confirmed that the federal government plans to raise value-added tax VAT to 15%. This is just as he but clarified that the increase would primarily affect luxury goods, speaking at an investors meeting during the ongoing IMF World Bank annual meeting in Washington, D.C. Mr. Edu explained that a bill currently before the National Assembly aims to gradually raise VAT on luxury goods, while essential items consumed by poor and vulnerable Nigerians would remain exempted from VAT or attract a zero rate. He added that the list of essential goods exempted from VAT will be made available to the public in due course. The federal government and private sector stakeholders have called for the nationwide adoption of a market-led extension service model driven by micro, small and medium enterprise (MSMEs) as a sustainable solution to agricultural productivity. This was among the key issues discussed at the National Agricultural Extension Service Impact Sharing Workshop held in Abuja with the theme Innovations in Market-Led Extension Service Delivery in Nigeria. Minister of Agriculture and Food Security Abubakar Kyari, represented by the Director, Federal Department of Agricultural Extension Services, Dr. Diola Lord Banjo, stressed the vital role of pluralistic agricultural extension service in achieving food sufficiency and transforming Nigeria's agricultural landscape. The minister noted that MSEs have been transformed into extension delivery firms through training and coaching. The Nigerian National Petroleum Company Limited, NNPCL, has officially commenced the process of settling its $6 billion debt. This is according to the Minister of Finance and Coordinating Minister for the Economy, Wale Edun, while addressing concerns about the NNPCL's financial situation, which had become stressed due to its outstanding obligations to suppliers. Explained that although the fuel subsidy was removed in May 2023, the company faced financial challenges due to foreign exchange cost. The House of Representatives has urged the Central Bank of Nigeria, CBN, to issue more new 200, 500 Naira and 1,000 Naira currency notes and begin the gradual withdrawal of old Naira notes from circulation before deadline of December 31st, 2024. The House also asked CBN to order commercial banks to forthwith stop cash payments to their customers with owed 200 Naira, 500 Naira, and 1,000 Naira notes, but instead engage in gradual mopping up of the old Naira notes, urging the Apex Bank to kickstart awareness programs for Nigerians to be aware and prepare for the deadline of December 31st, 2024. The resolutions followed the adoption of a motion moved by a member representing Ogbaro Federal Constituency of Anambra State, Honorable Afam Victor Ogene, at the plenaries. He recalled the hardship, frustration, and controversy of chaotic situations occasioned by CBN's Naira redesign policy in 2023 that affected validity of the old 200 Naira, 500 Naira, and 1,000 Naira notes at the time that resulted in litigations. On our foreign scene, Chinese President Xi Jinping has said that the world was facing serious challenges. Xi Jinping, speaking to leaders of BRICS emerging economics on financial day of the BRICS summit in the Russian city of Kazan, urged the group to be a stabilizing force. Addressing Assembly leader, Xi said, "The common march of the global south towards modernity is a major event in world history." Over now to Russian President Vladimir Putin told a BRICS summit that the Middle East was on the verge of full-scale war. Putin told a meeting in Kazan attended by several world leaders that the military action that started a year ago in Gaza has now spread to Lebanon. Other countries in the region are also affected. He added that violence in the Middle East will not end until the creation of an independent Palestinian state. Wife of Pakistan's ex-Prime Minister Imran Khan, Barshan Bibi, has been released from jail. The ex-Prime Minister's party made the revolution 9 months after she was imprisoned alongside him in the run-up to elections for graft and illegal marriage alongside opposition leader Khan in what he claimed was a campaign to sideline him from the vote. The illegal marriage case collapsed on appeal and Bibi's graft sentence was suspended, allowing her to walk free from Adelaide jail, where Khan remains imprisoned. The United Nations Secretary General Antonio Guterres has called on countries around the world to strengthen their commitment to multilateral cooperation in addressing global challenges. Guterres made the call on the occasion of UN Day, celebrated on October 24th, highlighting the importance of the United Nations in finding solutions to today's most pressing issues, including poverty eradication, sustainable development, conflict resolution, and the fight for equality, particularly for women and girls. Commonwealth heads of governments are preparing to defy the United Kingdom and agree plans to examine respiratory justice for the transatlantic slave trade. Downing Street insists the issue is not on the agenda for the summit of 56 Commonwealth countries, which begins in the Pacific island nation of Samoa. But diplomatic sources say officials are negotiating an agreement to conduct further research and begin a meaningful conversation about an issue which could potentially leave the UK owing billions of pounds in reparation. In sports now, the Super Eagles of Nigeria have moved up by 3 spots to place World 36 in the October FIFA ranking. In the ranking table on the website of the World Football Governing Body, Nigeria garnered 1,503.29 points within the period within review. The senior men's national team defending Libya in the first leg match of the African Cup of Nations qualifiers in New York also reflected positively on the continental position as the team ranked 4th behind Morocco, Senegal and Egypt instead of the 6 spots they occupied in September. Aston Villa continued their impressive form, cementing their place at the top of the standings in a thrilling week of Champions League football, match day 3. The English Premier League team stole the spotlight with Villa, Liverpool and Manchester City maintaining dominance as the group stage progresses. As the competition heats up, the English Premier League teams are setting the pace, while giants like Real Madrid and Barcelona have also made their ranks. The Confederation of African Football CAF has officially announced that 2024 CAF Awards will be held in the city of Marrakesh, Morocco in December 16, 2024. This marks the 3rd consecutive time Morocco will host the prestigious ceremony following last year's star-studded African fanfare. The award honors outstanding performance in both club and national football competitions, with the prestigious titles of CAF African Football of the Year in the men's and women's categories being the highlight. In boxing, heavyweight promoter Eddie Hearn has disclosed that Anthony Joshua will definitely face either Daniel Dubois or Tyson Fury next. Says the Briton Joshua suffered a 4th career defeat when he was stopped by IBF world champion Dubois at Wembley Stadium in September. Fury, who was long been linked with a super fight with Joshua, will face unified champion Alexander Usyk on 21st December after losing to the Ukrainian in May. Dubois dropped Joshua multiple times in front of a reported British record crowd of 96,000 before the fight was halted in the 5th round. To end News Express on Global Television, here is a quick summary. President Tinubu has sought the Senate's confirmation of ministerial nominees. In business now, Nigerian National Petroleum Company Limited has commenced payment of $6 billion debt to suppliers. And on our foreign scene, United Nations Secretary General Antonio Guterres has called for global unity. And finally, in sports, Confederation of African Football has announced date and venue for 2024 Players of the Year Awards. And that's it on News Express. And it came to you live from Nigeria's capital, Abuja. Now, a quick reminder that Global Television is on DSTV channel 365, Star Times channel 276, and free to air on Nicomsat. Kindly follow us across all social media platforms by using the Global TNG and other handles now showing on your screen. I am Jumai Manson. Thank you for watching. Good afternoon.